that part of the night that everyone watches at the end of the night, and then it gets posted up later, because it just is. It's a nice way to help our people catch up on what's going on in the world. The small world, that is. The world of cartoons. This is cartoon news, and this is a weird way of talking, and this is a very bad... what's his name? That one announcer. Shoot, I can't remember his name right now. What was his name again? Whatever his name was. Anyways, in 3D! Today's news, or rather the whole week's news, is some random stuff coming up from just about every major studio, actually. I've got stuff from, all about the top 4 or 5? Yeah, it's all over the place this week. So let's start with number 1. First up, since we were just talking about the How to Train Your Dragon TV pilot, we have something coming up from DreamWorks Animation. When you get developments in a company, in animation, eventually you're going to want to expand it, and you're going to need extra hands and extra helpers to help out. So what DreamWorks is doing is they are developing a $3.1 billion cultural and entertainment district in Shanghai. The investment there is really, really big. And why, you may ask? Well, because DreamWorks is expanding. They're trying to expand big time. Basically, after, we should have guessed this after they bought Classic Media, it was 2 weeks ago or something like that. They've invested a whole ton of money into trying to expand in the Shanghai district. And that area is actually, the whole Asian area is actually renowned for their animation, helping out their actual key animator, or not the key animator, the actual animation there. Specifically, lands like Korea do a lot of in-between work that help get big productions done that need lots of hands to do the actual animation. So they'll storyboard it in America and then they'll send it out to Korea or China or even somewhere apparently like Shanghai now. A multi-building complex stretching over 6 large city blocks on the banks of Hungpu River, titled the Dream Center. The complex aims to revive the Broadway Theatre District in New York City, or the West End District in London, with 3 Broadway-style theaters, the world's largest IMAX movie theater, and office buildings and smaller performance halls. So it'll also be home to the Oriental DreamWorks, a joint venture between DreamWorks Animation and its Chinese partners that will be co-producing Kung Fu Panda 3. So basically, it develops a cultural center and also provides work for their upcoming features. Itchy. So, outsourcing for the win! Yeah, pretty much. Which is interesting to me because hand-drawn animation I can understand outsourcing, but 3D animation? The idea behind that you think would be you need help with the backgrounds, you need lots of programmers basically, so still the spirit of animation, but different styles? I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know if I can call it animation sweatshops. From the sounds of it, they're trying to make it a bit less sweatshop-ish. The idea is to create different markets and to expand out the workforce, I guess. But I would hold off on this and just see what comes from this. Will this be a good investment or not for DreamWorks? I don't know yet, but I can only hope that they use it properly. That's what's coming up there, so keep an eye on that, and that's what DreamWorks is up to. Don't really have anything else to add on top of that except it exists. So, yay for us. This next story makes me sad. A little bit. The Lorax was a very popular film. That came out. Not with critics, not with smart people who actually know the book. No, with just the average moviegoer. It was incredibly popular. So popular that, now, what are we getting? We're getting a celebration of its debut coming on DVD and Blu-ray. Oh boy, I can hardly wait for that. No words on the Lorax 2. No, don't worry. There's no word on that yet. Just this. So Universal Studios, who was the main guys who made the film, are partnering up with Zynga, if I pronounce that right. And it's basically just expanding out the way that Universal distributes their films. They're animated films, basically. What they'll do is they'll have a wide release for it where they'll have lots of extra features for it, they'll have a different colored box to it, and they'll also have small mini-movies on it. Like, I've seen this on store shelves, actually. Not just DVD, not just Blu-ray, but also extra features to go with the film. And it's not surprising to anyone, because I'm speaking before all the sales are told, that there's going to be a lot of money made in this deal. Just wrap your mind around that. The Lorax, which kind of screws up the whole original story for it, of the original Dr. Seuss story, and has very little to do with the original, even screws up the basic message for it, is making more money than most other films that would deserve a lot more money. I mean, I thought it was all over when the film was in theaters and making lots of money, but no, even more with the DVD and the Blu-ray, and I'm only bitter mostly because I keep running into family members and younger people who keep saying like, oh, I want to rent the Lorax, or I hear the Lorax is really good, and I just have to bite my tongue and not tell them, well, I do tell them that it's not a very good movie, but I can't tell them why it's so bad without them saying, oh, you're just huffy, and you're overly critical of everything, and yes, I am overly critical, but still, it's the freaking Lorax, it messed it up so badly. And nothing more new on that, really, except it exists. That's pretty much the word for this week. It exists. Here's something else that exists, actually. And this one I briefly talked about on the San Diego Comic-Con edition, and it's something coming to Disney XD. Again, we were talking about Disney cartoons. This one is something that the title alone should probably grab people's attention. It is called Randy Cunningham, 9th Grade Ninja. So, if you ever wanted to be a 9th grader and a ninja, now is your chance. At least to watch someone pretend to be one. The premiere is going to be on September 17th, 2012, so coming up pretty soon. And the premise is pretty simple, really. It's going to be a 9th grader who's a ninja, and it's... I'm trying to think of a way to describe this properly. Probably the best way to find the audience for this is to gauge if you were a fan of stuff like Shaolin Showdown or Jackie Chan Adventures, because it's pretty much in a similar way of kind of glorifying the Kung Fu ninja craze without being too silly about it. Well, silly enough that it'd be entertaining, I guess. I mean, come on, 9th grade ninja. John's trying to describe it as male Kim Possible. Actually, I thought Kim Possible had a little more dignity, honestly. Maybe more than Disney was good for, to be fair. And it's not like we've seen this premise of ninja kids before. Very true, Richie. We've never seen this premise before at all. I should probably be keeping note of some of the new releases that are coming out soon, because we are coming up on new release season for all the different studios and everything. So I would recommend checking out the premise at least, or checking out the premiere when it comes out in September. So, I mean, just to get a gauge about whether or not it would be entertaining or not. It seems to be catering a little bit to the high school, or those who want to be high schoolers demographic. I'm sure that those who have actually been 9th graders already and maybe graduated from high school may look at this and just like, but it could be a nice divergent, I suppose, like not too sophomore that it's offensive, but not too harsh that you feel almost, I suppose, you want to flip the channel. And Tim Curry's in it. Good point, Itchy. Tim Curry happens to be it, but again, Tim Curry's in everything. Well, he's in everything that requires an amount of silliness to it. So there's your warning that if you want silliness and you like the Tim Curry, because I'm Dr. Frankenfurter and I'm going to make a man out of you, then you should probably check this out. I'm sure there'll be other stuff again coming from Disney XD and the other networks soon, so that's one of them, and if you want to check it out, then there you go. In fact, the last two stories for the night are exactly about new stuff that's coming out, switching away from Disney to Nickelodeon. Like I told you, I have news for everything this week. Nickelodeon has a new show of their own. This one's a CG show actually, and it's aimed towards the younger viewers. That is called Robot and Monster. The show called Robot and Monster is going to be a CG show that is, I think the title kind of says it all, two different characters that shouldn't really go together, a robot and a monster who are friends together, and they share adventures in the wonder of getting along and learning life lessons, all with glorious Nickelodeon CG to it. Actually, if you think about earlier Nickelodeon CG, like Jimmy Neutron, and how it's advanced more throughout the years, like the most recent one being, of course, Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesome, they've actually gotten a lot better. It's less jarring, less like washy, and like actually looking like an actual cartoon nowadays. It's again, this is aimed towards a little younger audience, and I'm just listing stuff that's coming out for new stuff. So Nickelodeon's got that in their back pocket. Whether or not it does anything substantial, I don't really think so. It looks safe enough, looks time-wasting enough. I can't really imagine this being like the next My Little Pony Friendship is Magic or anything like that. Although it is nice that we have those shows about good life lessons every now and then, about friendship and all that good stuff. And that's pretty much what we're going to be seeing out of Nickelodeon. One thing to keep though, if you have younger siblings or even children of your own and you want to keep them away from the weirder stuff, this may be one to maybe watch yourself just to get a gauge for how weird it actually is, because it looks a little bizarre. I mean, the worst example I have for a Nickelodeon show that I would not let my children watch currently would probably be Fanboy and Chum Chum, because it has very little, like, it's all sugar and spice, but no actual substance to it. And I can't imagine this one being that much better to it, but it's at least there. And again, it's there. That's the message for tonight. It's just there. But that's not really something that everyone is really interested in. We're more interested in this last story about what Nickelodeon's releasing, something that we've all been really, really, really cautious about. That, of course, being the premiere of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon. Now, whereas Robot and Monsters, like maybe something for the kiddies, this one may be for the kids, but it's for everyone out there, because there is not a single cartoon viewer out there, like all of you out there, who have not seen at least one iteration of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, when the premiere comes, and it's going to be a 1-hour premiere event on September 29th, 2012, you're going to be there to watch it because you want to see how does this stack up against every other cartoon version of TMNT. I don't think we can compare it to the live-action versions, because that was a whole other animal in itself. Lunar Shadow, tough puppy, I like. I don't dislike it. I don't know if it has, like, the bite to it that his previous works had had, but it's there. It's just there. I should admit that I'm not being a very fair person. I haven't seen that much of Tough Puppy, but I do think Butch Hartman's kind of lost a bit of his charm over the past couple of, about 2 or 3 years, probably. And of course, Danny Phantom's the best. Danny Phantom will always be the best work that Butch Hartman ever did. But away from that, back to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, the 1-hour premiere is going to be the origin story pretty much all over again. We were turtles in the sewer who got mutated by this slime and a rat, and he's our ninja master now, and we have to fight against the Shredder, and it's going to be pretty much that. And I can't give too many more details away. I mean, the premise is right here in the story, but I'm going to keep it hush-hush to keep the secrets under wraps. So, everyone out there who has any curiosity should, if you're going to diss on the whole, oh, they shouldn't remake old cartoons, they're just interested in money thing, at least watch this to get a feel for it, because otherwise you don't really have any reason to complain, other than the fact that you just don't want your favorite older cartoons to be remade for the new generation. I mean, there's been plenty of successful remakes for older stuff out there. I mean, we could even look at the Batman, the animated series, as being a remake of previous Batman iterations, or something like, I'm trying to think of something else, I'm sure something else will come to me eventually, like in the middle of my sleep or something like that, but the whole remaking older cartoons thing, I think we've been so desensitized to remakes nowadays that we kind of accept that there can be better stuff in it. I mean, oh, I just realized, My Little Pony, or even Thundercats, where something was older and they modified it in the good way to make it more epic, build upon what it was to really help it reach a higher potential. I mean, My Little Pony could be a perfect example of that, or even Thundercats could be the perfect example of taking kind of a silly premise and making it more epic. If you did not watch the 2011 Thundercats cartoon, you are a horrible, horrible person, and shame on you. Shame on you indeed. As for this TMNT series, I will be checking out the premiere to it, and as will many other people, and there will be tons of vlogs and comments and wars over how good or bad it will be. Although I'm pretty sure it's going to be good, but it's not going to be great. It's not going to be as great as the 2 previous cartoon versions. So maybe a nice time waster, a nice time filler for those of you people who want to get your TMNT fill. And it would be a nice way to introduce the younger generations to the franchise so that they can catch up on the older ones. I mean, how many of you would not be able to have heard of some cartoons if it not been for newer ones introducing you to the older ones? I mean, that's how plenty of long-running series go. I mean, I don't watch Doctor Who, but I can go ahead and reference Doctor Who as newer seasons that introduce people to the older stuff. Oh, and as far as everyone's demands here, because John has to get a comment in every single time that we talk about this, because it actually should happen, we need a Gem remake. We need someone to take the premise of Gem, bring it up to the 2012, and make a cartoon series out of it, with shiny colors and lots of marketing, and Hasbro can make all the money off of it. Although I'm pretty sure that I heard them saying that Gem was like in licensing trouble or something. Like they couldn't make a movie out of it because someone had the licensor or something. So I don't know. But either way, Gem is outrageous. Truly, truly, truly outrageous. Gem is my name. Yeah, if you haven't seen Gem, it's got like 3 songs in every episode. And they're all the same. It's like, get out of my way, get out of my way. You can make a song out of anything. It's like, this is a pen, oh, and this is the pen. I got my pen, oh, I'm writing with pen. This is my pen. Buy me a record deal. And TMNT coming out soon. Remember, on September 29th. Set your DVRs for that. Also set your DVRs for September 17th for the upcoming 9th grade Ninja premiere. And yeah, that's all the new stuff coming out there. Where the hell did my brain go with that? I don't have an idea where your brain went, Lunar. It went to the internet, the infiniteness that is the world of the internet. And that's cartoon news for this week, running from August 3rd to the 9th? Yeah, 3rd to the 9th. And thank you, everyone. Go watch cartoons, go watch new stuff coming out, support the new stuff, and don't be a crabby person who just says that the older stuff is always better than the new stuff, because new stuff can be good too. And hey, maybe you could be an animator yourself one day. Probably not, but you could still be one day anyways. Ta-ta!